Hey, let's talk about voting. First, a quick refresher. So, this Saturday, the 2nd of July, everyone enrolled to vote in Australia and those travelling overseas have to cast a ballot. Well, technically, two ballots. The first ballot, the little one, is for the House of Representatives. That's for your local MP. Think about Adam Bandt in the seat of Melbourne, Bill Shorten, for example, in the seat of Maribyrnong, and Malcolm Turnbull in the seat of Wentworth. In order to form government, either the Liberal Party or the Labor Party have to get more than half of the 150 seats in the lower house, the House of Representatives. That ballot paper is pretty straightforward. You just number one to however many boxes there are and submit it. That's pretty easy. The second ballot paper is the Senate ballot paper, and that's the one I'm here to talk to you about today. This election, Senate voting is super important. The reason for this is because the voting rules have changed, and the way you vote in the Senate and how you decide to vote in the Senate could have a massive impact on how the Senate becomes populated, and whether or not small parties who are there to keep the bastards honest, in the words of the Democrat, whether or not they get elected to the Senate. So the old rules were that you could number either above the line or below the line. Above the line, there are the parties, and below the line, there are the candidates. So the old rules, you just number one above the line, or you had the other option of numbering one to something like 90 something below the line. So because most people are lazy, around 97% of Australians just numbered the number one above the line. What this meant is that if the party that they voted just number one above the line didn't get in or didn't get enough first preference votes to have a candidate in the Senate, they would have already submitted to the Australian Electoral Commission where their preferences would go. So they would have been allocated all the way down to the very last party or very last candidate. But the rules have changed and this no longer happens. Under the new system, you can still vote above the line or below the line. So above the line being the grouped tickets, or usually grouped by party, and below the line being all the candidates. But this time around, the AEC says that you should vote above the line at least 1 to 6, so 1 to 6 parties or grouped candidates above the line, and below the line at least 1 to 12, that is individual candidates. But I reckon, and my hot tip is to go a little further than that. The reason I'm saying that is because unlike the old system, if none of the 1 to 6 parties above the line that you vote for, or 1 to 12 candidates below the line that you vote for get past the post, that is, get enough votes, around 7% of the primary vote, to have a candidate in, and they go through all your preferences and none of them get enough votes to get a Senate candidate in, your vote will no longer count. It will be exhausted in the technical language. So my hot tip is to ensure that your vote is counted towards a party that you would like to see or would want to see in the Senate. You should number all the parties above the line or all the candidates below the line that you wouldn't mind being in the Senate. There's all these small random parties that you might not be sure about. Have a look into them. You might not mind them being in the Senate, but just stop numbering as soon as you get to a party or a candidate, depending if you vote above or below the line, that you're like, I would never, ever want them in the Senate. So stop numbering, don't number those boxes. So that's my hot tip. That's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share and comment and ask questions in the comments below as well. Enjoy it and happy voting.